excited, like I could cry. Love this book more than life. I just love it. What, Feyre, what are you doing? Like, this guy could have killed you. What are you doing? Loving that for her. She's finally having a breakthrough and pieing him off. I love Sarah J Maas is so clever. Like, I love this so much. I just hate him so much. Hi, it's Jodie and welcome to another video. I'm so excited about this video. So today I'm going to be starting a reading vlog and I'm so excited. So this is a reading vlog that is actually part of a series that I'm doing. So for those of you who might have missed my last vlog, I'll have it linked in the description box down below and you can go and check it out. But basically I'm rereading all of the books in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series before the release of A Court of Silver Flames, which comes out on the 16th of February. Now, it's currently the 10th of February. It took me a little while to get through ACOTAR because I had loads of other readathons and stuff on during the time I was reading it. But I finished it. It's now time to start my reread for ACOMAF. So excited, like I could cry. This is my all-time favorite book. Like, no book compares to this. No book makes me feel the way this book feels. This is the one book that I could read over and over again for the rest of my life, every single day, and never get sick of. Like, I literally adore this book so much. I've never annotated it before or tabbed it, so I will be doing that for the first time as well during this reading vlog, so I'm very excited. Yeah, if you did want to watch the first vlog to this series, like I said, a link down below. So this is the second vlog. This is the reread for A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. The last time I reread this was in 2020 in like the summer, so it's been like, well, it's been less than a year, but I mean, you know, I've read a lot of books since then, so obviously there's always little things you forget, and I'm so excited to revisit this. Just literally like, oh, I'm so excited to meet the inner circle again, and obviously for Feyre's like character development, and obviously for Rhys's, like my absolute baby. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. So yeah, I'm going to be rereading this beautiful book. It's going to be emotional. I'm going to try and get through this as quick as I possibly can. We'll see how long it takes me to read this. But like I said, fave book ever. So friggin' excited to be reunited with my book husband Rhys, and I just love this book so much. Like, I love this book more than life. I just love it. But yes, if you would like to see me reread this book, probably have several breakdowns because I am very fragile right now, and this book's probably going to just really play with my emotions that are already played with. So yeah, it's going to be a wild ride rereading this book. If you want to see me probably cry quite a lot, talk about this book a lot, just have fun and reread this, then keep watching. It's gonna be fun. First things first, wouldn't be a Jodie vlog without one. So we're gonna go make a brew, we're gonna get cozy, we're gonna put on a candle, and then we are gonna start this beautiful book because I love it so much and I'm excited, if I haven't said that a million times already. Okay, so just like I did for ACOTAR, I'm actually gonna set up my little sticky notes page thingy so I know what colour I'm doing for which. Wow, the angle went so weird then. So yeah, I'm going to do that now and stick it in the front of the book. And yeah, I think I'm going to do my tabs slightly different this time. Like, there's certain things that I want to tab more than I did for ACOTAR, and then there's other things that I'm not going to bother tabbing. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to start reading it, and I'm so excited. So I've got this cute washi tape here that I'm going to use to stick in my little sheet of tabs. So I have this here with all my sticky tabs and what the colours are, because it does differ per book, and this time around I've changed some of them. So I've added in certain tabs, taken away certain tabs and stuff like that. So I'm going to stick it in and I'm excited. So I've stuck it in, and I've used this washi tape here that has the little like eyes on it as well, because I thought it's a bit like Feyre's tattoo and it's blue. I felt like it fits the vibe for this book. Yes, I have it here and I'm ready. I'm good to go. So let's start reading. So before I start, I need to decide on a bookmark. So I have these here. which are so cute. So I have the Feyre and Rhysand, but I don't know which one to use for the book. I can't decide. I think I'm gonna go with Rhysand. I used him last time, but he's just so cute. I'm gonna go with Rhysand. Okay, so I'm literally only just through the first chapter and I already friggin' hate Tamlin so much. Right, so here's my issues. Right, first I just want to say I'm really sad because you can tell just from like the prologue bit that Feyre is full of self-hate. Like, she's talking about like plunging a dagger into her own heart, and she's reliving the end of the Under the Mountain bit, and it's just so sad to know that she hates herself that much after what happened. But it is understandable, but it's just really sad. So we already know that Feyre is in a very dark frame of mind as soon as ACOMAF starts. And I forgot as well that like this takes place 3 months after her and Rhysand had that conversation. So yeah, I'm curious to know what happens in the 3 months that Rhysand didn't come to get her for their 1 week a month thing. Maybe that'll be explained later in the book, but I honestly don't remember. So I'm intrigued by that, if it does actually ever get explained where he was for those 3 months. I don't remember if it does, but I am intrigued by that. At the end of chapter 1, I have this bit here where Feyre's talking about how like she wakes up in the middle of the night, she's vomiting her guts up, like she obviously has really bad PTSD and is really struggling. She's waking up sweating, vomiting, and she says, she's talking about Tamlin, and she says, he never woke when a nightmares dragged me from sleep, never woke when I vomited my guts up night after night. If he knew or heard, he said nothing about it. I hate him so much. Like, I'm sorry, but with his Fae hearing, he can obviously hear her, he knows. And I know they have this kind of unspoken thing about not letting Amarantha get the best of them and know that she's still affecting him, but what? Like, imagine that. Like, she needs support, like she needs to be looked after, and he's just ignoring her. Like, I know if that was recent, he'd be holding her hair back for her and everything, and I hate Tamlin. And then I've started chapter 2, first page. I want to go. No. All he says is no. Already he's telling Feyre, a grown woman, a grown high fae woman, I may add, she can't go into the village. She can't. So already on the 2nd chapter he's being... I knew this was going to happen, but I'm still angry and I still hate him. Like, what is his problem? I know he's dealing with it too, but come on, really? Like, she's literally like needs to get out of the house, you know, she's not coping well and he just won't let her do anything. And Lucian's like, you know, shaking his head as if to say don't, and it's like, what? Like, why aren't you sticking up for her? Like, you know? Yeah, I'm only a chapter in, which is literally 8 pages in, by the way, and I already have thoughts and I'm already angry at Tamlin, so that's going to be the tone for a while, I think. But yeah, I will update you guys in a bit because I'm now on Tasman's live show. We are doing some reading sprints. So yes, I've just started it, and the first time Rhysand's name got mentioned, I was like, oh, butterflies, I love him. But I'm so excited to get to the wedding scene because I love that scene so much. So yeah, I just need to get through this horrible Tamlin stuff, and once I'm through that, it's all good. But until that point, I'm gonna have to struggle because I hate Tamlin and I hate this romance between them. I don't like it. It makes me feel sick and I do not want to read about it, but I will trudge on to get to the good stuff. Okay, so I literally haven't read anything else since I last updated you guys, but I am actually gonna not update you guys again until tomorrow because I'm gonna get into bed. Yeah, I don't have any other updates except for the fact that I am still so angry at Tamlin only a chapter in. Like, ugh, he makes my blood boil. And I also feel like he's very manipulative, and I also feel like Lucian needs to be called out because I feel like he allows this to happen and he needs to say something and he doesn't. So yes, those are my thoughts on this little reread so far, even though I've only read like 5 pages. And like I said, I probably won't read any more until like tomorrow or something, so I'll probably update you guys then. Bye. Okay, so I haven't updated you guys for a while and I haven't read any more since I started, so I've literally read 18 pages and that's it. I'm on chapter 2 I think still. I just haven't picked this up for a day or so, which is really bad, but it's now Friday the 12th of February and I'm doing a weekend readathon with my friend Sabine, and I'm going to be trying to read this weekend, so I will also be filming a separate vlog for that weekend readathon which you guys can go and watch. I don't know if it'll be up before or after this one, but yes, I will be reading this weekend. Hopefully I'm finishing it and then moving on to ACOTAR. I don't have much time left. I have like 4 days left to try and read this and ACOTAR and Frost and Starlight. We'll see. I don't know. If I have to go past the release date, I have to go past the release date, but hopefully not. My plans are to try and read this weekend, so we shall see. So yes, I'm very excited to continue, but I just thought I'd update you guys so you know where we're at with this. So let's hope that I manage to read this weekend. Okay, so I'm just on one of our reading sprints right now, but I'm just on page 29 and I'm reading the part now where Lucian and Feyre are talking about like the fact like Tamlin's not letting her leave the grounds, he's not letting her do anything, and like he's saying like Lucian says he's giving you as much free reign as he can. Like, I'm sorry, but who do they think he is? Like, seriously. She is a being, like she is a living being. Like, who are you to tell her what she can and can't do? And like, it's just so toxic and unhealthy of Tamlin. Like, it doesn't matter what he's going through, like it is so toxic and like awful, and Lucian is like enabling this, and he's like kind of manipulating Feyre into thinking like, oh, it's just because he loves you and he's scared and blah blah, and it's like, but what you're doing is literally making her a prisoner. Like, it is so bad. And like Feyre even says like, I didn't realise I'd become a prisoner. Like, how do they not realise how damaging this is? And then when you go on to page 29, Feyre says, I've given him time, I can't stay cooped up in the house forever. And it's like so bad. Like, you think about this, like Feyre has literally been trapped under the mountain, endured some really traumatic, and then you lock her up again and take away her freedom again in her own home. How do these people not realise how damaging this is to someone's mental health? And Feyre's already going through it and they're just keeping her locked up and not allowing her any freedom and just not any room to breathe. Like, it is just disgusting, and I hate Tamlin already, and Lucian is just not much better. So yeah, that's my reading update at the moment. I don't have a ton of updates, but I have read a lot more since I last updated you guys. So I'm now on page 108, which is chapter 11. So let me just figure out where I was last chatting to you guys about. Right, so I don't know if I mentioned this already. I think I did mention about how like Lucian's a bit like of an enabler of like, and he manipulates Feyre. Wow. Gets worse. So basically Feyre goes for her first date at Rhys's, and this is because she is about to get married to Tamlin, and she's walking down the aisle, and as she's walking down the aisle there's red rose petals on the aisle, and instantly PTSD kicks in and she has flashbacks to do with blood because of the colour red. Like, this is how deep her trauma goes. The colour red will trigger her. So she obviously is like close to having a panic attack, and she's saying like, someone please like help me, like no, like she doesn't want to marry him like right now, like no, like I want to just get away from here. And obviously Rhys hears her through the bond they have, So Rhys comes and like takes her away. Please, like, I don't care if they think it was me just coming to calling it now, like I did it because I heard you and you needed saving. And he was like, you can simply blame it on me. And it's just like, it's so cute the way he's like always looking out for her. And like obviously at this point he knows that she's his mate, but she doesn't know. And like he's been able to see her like waking up having nightmares and like puking and stuff every night and not being able to do anything about it. Explain to her like how the night court works and stuff. And then we have the scene which is so funny where Feyre throws her shoe at his head. I just love that scene so much. It's just so funny. It makes me laugh every single time. I'm trying to find this quote though about like how he talks about like when you can see into her brain. So he's talking about here on page 56, he's talking about how like the bond works and stuff like that. And he's saying like that sometimes like she unwittingly like will share things with him, and other times like he can't help it, and sometimes he does go in. And she's like, how often do you rifle through my mind when my shields are down? And he says, all amusement faded from his face when I can't tell if your nightmares are real threats or imagined, or when you're about to be married and you silently beg anyone to help you. Only when you drop your mental shields and unknowingly blast those things down the bridge. And to answer your question before you ask, yes, even with your shields up, I could get through them if I wished. You could train though, learn, blah blah blah. So yeah, he like literally like you can just tell here how concerned he is for her well-being. Like when he's like talking about, he's trying to figure out if like her screaming's like real or fake. I just love that so much. It's just so cute. And then we also meet Moore for the first time as well, which we love Moore, we love her. And I love when she says, I'd enjoy seeing Rhys's balls nailed to the wall. Like, she's just so funny, I love her so much. So then as well, we've also had recent warning Feyre about like how the King of Hightburn's like been planning this campaign for years, and how like war's on its way, and Feyre should probably investigate her powers that she might have, and her and Tamlin are both in denial about this. So we have that going on. And then we also hear when she says to Rhys, that's why you stayed away, you were busy with that, talking about like to do with the Ilranian warriors that he was like hunting down and killing, the ones who are like traitorous. And he was like, I was busy with many things. And it's like, yeah, you were busy with trying to figure out why Feyre is your mate, and the shock of it, like, recent. Have the worst scene in this whole book. Well, probably not the worst, but one of them. So we have the scene where like Tamlin and Feyre are getting heated and they're talking, and she says something like, then marry someone who can put up with this, because like she's basically saying to him like, you know, you need to stop treating me like a prisoner, I need to be able to like have some freedom. And he's like, no, like I care about you too much and all this rubbish. And then she says to him, I'm drowning, and the more you do this, the more, God, you might as well be shoving my head under the water. So she's literally like begging him for help, like saying like, you know, you're literally like killing me, like I'm struggling and you're just making things worse and all this. And instead of like, you know, being like, all right, I understand, supporting her, talking to her, Tamlin decides to throw a little bitch fit. And it says, I cried out, instinct taking over as his power blasted through the room. The window shattered, the furniture splintered, and that box of paints and brushes and paper exploded into dust, glass and wood. And then we have the start of the next chapter, just so this makes sense. It says, I've just highlighted certain parts. So one breath the studio is intact, the next it was shards of nothing, a shell of a room. I was shaking so hard I thought my bones would splinter as the furniture had, but I made myself lower my arms and look at him. Around me no debris had fallen, as if he had shielded me. Tamlin took a step toward me over that invisible demarcation. He recoiled as if he hit something solid. Feyre, he rasped. He stepped again, and that line held. Feyre, please, he breathed. And I realised that the line, the bubble of protection, it was from me. A shield, not just a mental one, but a physical one too. So, yeah. That says a lot, because not only did Feyre have to protect herself against someone she's supposed to love, which she should never have to do, he exploded. Flying everywhere would have really hurt Feyre if she hadn't have done that for herself. And obviously Tamlin's not aware that she's able to do this, so he was having that little bitch fit knowing full well that he was going to injure Feyre, and he still did it. So what does that say about Tamlin? We hate him. We hate him. What? Just bin him off, Feyre, there and then bin him off. But Feyre being Feyre and being naive doesn't do that. She sleeps with the guy. She starts sleeping with him again, and I'm just like, what, Feyre, what are you doing? Like, this guy could have killed you. What are you doing? But yeah, I think that brings you guys up to date. So to summarize the last few pages I have read, we hate Tamlin. Tamlin is an Lucian is not much better because he's not doing anything to stop this. We love Rhys, he is an angel. and we also love more, and we just need Feyre to stop being silly and go ahead to the night court. So yeah, that pretty much summarises what I've read so far. So I'm literally only 100 pages in. My plan for this evening is to get to page 312, because that would be about halfway through. So if I can get halfway, which is probably like, I need to read this much tonight, and if I read that much, which is like over 200 pages, then I will be halfway, and hopefully tomorrow I can read the other half and start ACOTAR. But I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, that's my plan for tonight, is to read like another 200 pages. It's currently 7:15, so we'll see. But I will update you guys when I've read some more. Okay, so I've just read the bit where Tamlin locks Feyre in the manor and she loses her shit, rightfully so. Why would you do this though? Like, she literally ends up having like a really bad panic attack because she has like obviously severe PTSD, and she's having like flashbacks to being locked under the mountain, and he literally like locks her in the house to the point where she can't escape. Like, why would you do that? Are you an idiot? Like, to do that to someone who's got severe PTSD, like, just so stupid. So then obviously as well, Feyre then ends up like using her abilities, and she like ends up in this like cocoon of darkness, and she's just like spiraling out of control. She knows what's going on, but then Moore comes and rescues her and takes her out of the spring court, and she goes back to Rhys. And obviously like Rhys does it all by the book, so like no crap's gonna happen between him and Tamlin. And now we're just up to the part where she is now in the night court, and Rhys is like, you can stay here forever as long as you like, whatever you want to do. And Feyre even says here, like, I know that if I stayed in that manor, if I was locked up one more time, it might finish the breaking that Amarantha had started. I mean, you should have left a long time ago, honey, but here we are. Yeah, and now we're up to the bit where she is being taken to Velaris, the city of starlight, which we love. So yeah, I'm now up to the House of Wind, which is part 2. I'm not showing my face because I look horrendous right now. But yes, I'm now on page... What page is that? It doesn't have a page number. I'm on page 135, so I still have a lot more reading to do tonight. I just got a fresh cup of tea, and I'm gonna get some more reading done. Really enjoying this reread, hoping, like I said, to get halfway. So I've still got another like 150 pages I need to read, maybe just under 200 actually. So a lot of reading I still need to do, so I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I look really bad right now, so I will not be getting my face on camera to update you guys again, but I'll probably just do a little update like this in a little while when some more stuff's happened. So yeah, bye. Hello, so today is a Saturday and I haven't really updated you guys or done anything today, and it's 3 PM, so yay, we love productivity. But I did read until the halfway point last night of ACOMAF, so I'm now on page 318. Yeah, a lot to update you guys on, like a lot. I don't remember where I last updated you guys at. I think I was on part 2, which was House of Wind. So we've had a lot happen since then. We're getting like backstory on some of the characters. I've met Rhys's inner circle, so we've met Moore, Cassian, Azriel and Amren, and Feyre, like her first interactions with them and stuff. And now Feyre started to train with Cassian, and we also have Rhys giving some like background info onto Velaris and how it works and the history of it. And Feyre's like discovering all these new things and bits of information, and she's really starting to change her views on how she feels about Tamlin and things as a whole, and we're loving that for her. She's finally having a breakthrough and pieing him off. And we've met the bone carver, I think is what he was called, where he is like telling them how the cauldron works and how you can nullify it and stuff. So now we're up to the part where Feyre and Rhys and Amren have gone to the summer court, and they're going to try and steal the half of the book to try and nullify the cauldron. I'm just loving this so much. I've read so much that I just can't remember what I actually wanted to talk about, if I'm being honest. Like, I've highlighted a lot of stuff, but now that it comes to talking about stuff, my brain just is gone blank. And we've also had the scene where Feyre goes to the Weaver and she finds Rhys's ring, and little does she know, like, because Cassian says, like, Rhys, when he finds out about that, and it's like, does Cassian know that that's like the wedding ring he's going to give to Feyre, and like that's why he got her to go and find it as like a part of a test, or is he just saying shit because of like the Weaver, like, you know? But yeah, I honestly like can't even remember all the stuff I've read because so much has happened. But basically that's where we're up to. We're going to find the half of the book. Rhys and Feyre are starting to get a bit flirtatious. They're sending like those little notes between each other, and I'm just living for it. I love it so much. I did binge read like 200 pages last night, which is good in terms of reading but not good in terms of updates, because as of right now I can't remember exactly what I wanted to talk about. So I'm not gonna try and go into stuff because there's way too many sticky tabs in here. But what I will do is from this point forward try to update you guys a bit more. But I am absolutely loving this reread. I still have like over 300 pages left to read, and I did want to finish this today. My plans originally were to get up really early this morning, start reading it, and that hasn't happened. So hopefully I can still finish this tonight. Will I don't know. Hopefully. I'm sorry if you can hear the TV in the background, but this just made me so sad where Rhys is talking about how like he's jealous when Feyre said to Tarquin that he would be easy to fall in love with, and he's like, I'm jealous of that I'm not that sort of person. And he's saying how like whoever like would fall in love with him like would always have to worry about like threats against their life and stuff, and he's just so sad. And he says like, and he will never know what it is to look up at the night sky and wish. And then we have my favourite quote in the world where Feyre pours them a drink and says, to the people who look up the stars and wish, Rhys, and Rhys says, to the stars who listen and the dreams that are answered. This is my favourite quote. I love it so much, and it just makes me so happy but so sad at the same time. But yeah, I'm just loving this so much. This book is just my life. Okay, so I don't know when I last updated you guys during this reading vlog. It's very, very hard to film a reading vlog for this book specifically, and also a weekend reading vlog where I'm only reading this book. Like, I hope you can understand how difficult that is. But basically, right now I'm on page 404, so I don't know what I was last on when I updated you guys. But I have a few things I would like to talk about. I just wanted to talk about this because I just love this so much. Like, it just, oh, I just love it. Feyre and the inner circle are meeting the mortal queens and like having a meeting with them back at Feyre's home, like where Elaine and Nesta live. And they're meeting for the first time, and obviously these women are just friggin' I don't like them, not at all. They think they're better than them, and they're very patronising and condescending, and it's like, you know, you are an insect in comparison to Rhys, and it's older than your ancestors, like, you know, and they're like speaking to him and Feyre like they're nothing, and it really annoys me. But one of the queens ask like why Feyre has a crown on and everything. One of the queens says, an emissary wears a golden crown. Is that tradition in Perithian? Because obviously it's not like a normal thing, you know, like a high fae lady to be wearing a crown, because you have high lords who are men. Obviously Feyre's not the high lady or anything yet, but she's wearing a crown, which usually signifies like a position of power and stuff like that. And so the queen asks this, and then Rhys is like, no, but she certainly looks good enough in one that I can't resist. And I just love that, because he's like playing it off as like not being a big deal, but he is obviously like giving her this crown to like show that she deserves respect, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I just really like that. Anyway, another point I wanted to quickly talk about, where Feyre says, I'd let flickers these past few weeks in that hole inside my chest, flickers of images but nothing solid, nothing roaring with life and demand, not in the way it had that night, seeing him kneel on the bed, naked, tattooed and winged. So she is referring to the scene, which I totally wanted to talk about, forgot to talk about, scene where Feyre's about to go to bed and she's like drifting off to sleep, and all of a sudden like the whole house and the mountain is like shaking, and she's like, what the hell is going on? And like darkness kind of like comes in, it's coming under the door, it's like covering everything, and straight away she's like, it's Rhys, like something's wrong with Rhys. She runs to Rhys's room and he's having like a nightmare, and she's trying to wake him up and she's screaming his name, and then he like his talons come out and he's got her by the neck on the bed, and obviously like he doesn't know what's going on, like he's so paralyzed with fear from this nightmare. And so it's then she says, I threw my own power out, black to black, soothing his darkness, the rough edges, willing it to calm, to soften. My darkness sang his own a lullaby. I sent my own veil of night, brushing up against it, running star-flecked hands down it. So Feyre uses her own like smither of Rhys's power that she possesses to try and calm him, and then it works, and he's like totally naked on top of her, and she tries not to look. So when she says that, she's referring to that, and she's basically saying like she's getting the feels, she's in her feels. And yeah, I just love that so much, and it just really makes me laugh too. But I mean, as horrible and traumatic that scene is for Rhys, shows how alike him and Feyre are, how they both have these very severe nightmares and like are struggling to deal with things, but they always comfort each other when they're aware of it. And I love that. Like Tamlin didn't do any of that with Feyre, he literally just ignored her and left her alone, whereas they support each other, and I just love it so much. And I love how we see like Rhys's vulnerability as well. It's like another layer being peeled back, and like him and Feyre getting to know each other more, and I just really love it. Then also another thing, like a lot of stuff is happening in this book and it's impossible for me to talk about everything. I'm just talking about my favourite bits at the moment, but something I really did love was how like we kind of get a little list of like what Feyre's abilities are. So she says, when she's training with Rhys, we've slowly worked through my gifts. I'd been given flame and water, ice and darkness. There were others we knew that had gone undiscovered, undelved, where knowing still remained impossible. So we're starting to see Feyre and to know her like abilities, her powers, what she's able to do, and I love that. I love us seeing Feyre like grow and becoming even more of a bad bitch. Like I love it so much. That's kind of what's going on at the moment in this book that I'm enjoying the most. I'm just gonna see if there's something else I want to talk about. The one other bit that I love is when they're meeting the queens and they're being total royal, and they're basically like saying no and like we're better than you and blah 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 and all this, and then Maud just comes in and she's like, I am the Morrigan, your ancestors will be ashamed of you, like, and she just says it how it is, and I just love it. Like she wipes the floor with them, and I'm here for it, and I love Maud. And I also really love how we see a lot more into Maud's past at this point in the book. It's just so horrible, like so many of these characters have gone through so much trauma, and like it's just so sad. And I love how Sarah J Maas adds these like layers to the characters, like they're just not straight up, there's always something more to learn, there's always like a deeper thing that explains why they are the way they are. And I just love how she explains like the backstory of characters without doing it all in one go. It's like spaced out throughout the books and it makes sense to what's going on, and I just love how she does that, and how she really does make you sympathize with characters and understand them. And I absolutely just love the way she does that, and the way she's done it with More. And then another thing that's worth mentioning is we've also kind of had the backstory now to what's going on with Miriam, Dorian and Prince Draken, which is really interesting because I always forget how that kind of scenario works. So it's really interesting. We found out that they're alive on this little island, and now Rhys's going to have to show the queens Valaris to prove that, you know, they're capable of like peace and blah blah blah, which I hate because we all know it's a trap. But yeah, that is where we're up to right now. They're all the main things that I wanted to talk about. Obviously there's a lot more gone on in this book, like look how many tabs I've done, but I couldn't possibly remember and talk about all of them. But those are like the main things I'm enjoying, things I think are really important. But I'm just freaking loving this read so much, and obviously things are developing more and more between Rhys and Feyre. There's kind of at that weird point yet where they don't, like, they're not admitting how they feel to each other, and they're walking on eggshells because they don't know like exactly what's going on. But I love it and I'm here for it. I'm so excited because I know soon it's when things start to take a turn, and chapter 55 is coming up and I can't wait. But my plans tonight are, because I'm doing my 48-hour readathon thing and I only have 2 days left to try and reread the entire series before Court of Silver Flames goes out, which I don't know if I will do, but I'm still going to do these reading vlogs. I want to finish this tonight and try to start ACOTAR tomorrow. So I need to read 220 pages tonight before I go to bed. It's almost 11:30 p.m, so I'm going to be up late tonight, and I have an early morning live show tomorrow, so I'm going to go and do that. I won't update you guys as I'm reading tonight because Jamie's going to be asleep. I don't want to wake anyone up, and I'm going to be very tired myself, so I'm going to go attempt to finish this book tonight, and I'm so excited. I will maybe film like little clips, or I will just do kind of like an overview review in the morning. Because I'm rushing to read this reading vlog hasn't gone how I planned, but I hope that you guys are still enjoying it anyway. And yeah, I'm obsessed. I love this book so much. So yes, I'm gonna go and do that, and I will speak to you guys very soon. Okay, so today is February 14th. It's Valentine's Day, and it's currently 9:10, and last night I did in fact finish my reread of ACOMAF. I stayed up till 3:30 a.m. and I finished it, and tears were shed. So yeah, I didn't update you guys again, and I'm so sorry. I know this vlog will suck, but I'm still gonna have this vlog go up anyways. I mean, you know, most people will have already watched a million vlogs for this series because it has been out so long. But yes, anyways, I finished it. It was amazing. I literally was full of so many emotions. So much happens in this book. Like, this book is an emotional roller coaster. We start with Feyre and Tamlin together at the beginning, her dealing with grief, her mental health going very badly, Tamlin being a things kind of falling apart between them, Rhys coming in to save her, Rhys teaching her how to read and write, Rhys teaching her how to use her powers, her and Rhys developing a friendship, but then it turned into a bit more flirtatious. She learns a lot of history about Amarantha and Perithian in general and things like that. We also meet Rhys in a circle, and we see Feyre developing new friendship and bonds with all of those characters as well. We're introduced to some more characters like the Summer Court High Lord and other characters. And then we also have like a lot of personal growth going on from not just Feyre but Rhys as well. And we also obviously see their relationship like blossom into something more. And then we also start to get introduced more to Highburn, and the plot starts to develop with the oncoming war with Highburn as well. So much happens in this book, and I just love it so much. Like, every time I reread this, I just love it more and more. I love Rhys so much, I love Feyre, and I love how clever Sarah J Maas is. Like, my favourite thing for me is in this book, obviously I love chapter 55, like, if you know, you know. But I love chapter 54 because chapter 54 is the chapter where Rhys and Feyre are in this little cabin, and this is where Rhys explains everything to Feyre when he first suspected that she was his mate, and all these little things from ACOTAR now come into play here, and I love it so much. I love how everything kind of makes sense, and like, it's just so good. Rhys tells us how, like, what happened with Amarantha. He says, 3 years ago I began to have these dreams. At first they were glimpses as if I was looking through someone else's eyes. He says he thought nothing of them until one of the images was of a hand, this beautiful human hand holding a brush painting flowers on a table. And earlier in ACOTAR, Feyre talks about how she painted the table. She did Elaine's flowers and flames for Nesta and the moon, stars and sky for herself. And then Rhys says, like, at the time I pushed the thought back of the night sky, of the image that brought me joy when I needed it most. Open night sky, stars and the moon. I didn't know if it was received, but I tried anyway. And then he says, those dreams, the flashes of that person or woman, I treasured them. They reminded there was some peace in the world, some light. Then he says, for years I kept having those little dreams until a year ago I was sleeping next to Amarantha and I jolted awake from a dream. This dream was clearer and brighter, like that fog had been wiped away. And he was seeing like Feyre's nightmare while she was at the spring court to do the Vogue, and he realised then that she was in Perithian, but he didn't know who she was or anything. He'd just been seeing her in his dreams, so he had no idea that everything was going down with Tamlin. And he says that one night he's seen one of Feyre's dreams where she was dreaming of Calamai. He knew like that the one place doing like a big celebration was the spring court, so he made an excuse to Amarantha to go to the spring court in the hopes of obviously meeting Feyre. So he goes there and he could smell her, and then he finds her when she's been harassed by those 3 horrible guys, and that's why he says to her, his first words to her, there you are, I've been looking for you. And she just thinks like at the time he was just like saying that to try and help her and save her, but the whole time he literally meant like, I've been dreaming about you, like I've now found you. Like, oh, I love Sarah J Maas is so clever, like I love this so much. He says like he knew at that point then that he was like, you know, this was more than just dreams. So he says like deep down he must have knew, but he kind of like didn't let himself admit it, because obviously he was too scared and terrified that anything he loves will be taken from him. So he tries to like push his feelings aside, thinks nothing will happen, he'll never see her again. And then obviously she comes to under the mountain and he learns everything. And then he was like, and I knew as I picked up the knife to kill her, I knew right then what you were. I knew that you were my mate. If you were going to die, I was going to die with you. It's like when she died, I wrapped my power around the bond of the mating moment. I could feel you flickering there, holding on. Home had been at the end of the bond recent. And then he said obviously when he landed to say goodbye to her, like that's when the bond clicked into place for him. And he said, I landed at the night court right as Moore was waiting for me, and I was so frantic, so unhinged, that I told her everything. I hadn't seen her in 50 years, and the first words to her were, she's my mate. Like, I just love this so much. And I just love chapter 54 because it literally is just recent, kind of explaining how everything occurred and all these little things from ACOTAR now make sense. And I love it so much. I love it so much. It's just literally one of the best chapters for me. I think I actually love it more than 55. Like 54 is probably my favourite chapter because it just shows how clever Sarah J Maas is, how all these, even these little things that Rhys said, he had a different meaning behind them that now he's telling Feyre, and I just love it so much. Before that, I've done this in the total wrong order, but before that, the way Feyre finds out is when her and Rhys are in the woods and Rhys gets shot down with ash arrows and taken, and then Feyre like rescues him, and he's obviously like got poison him, so she needs something to try and save him. So she finds the SOCAIL and she says the SOCAIL again, and then the SOCAIL tells her that he's your mate. And she hits the fan because she is furious that Rhys didn't tell her. Kind of understand why, but she's just like furious, and I just love it so much. Every time I read that scene, it's just so good. And then another honourable mention that I have is when Feyre's talking to Amren, and she says he thinks, she's talking about Rhys, and she says he thinks he'll be remembered as the villain in the story, but I forgot to tell him that the villain is usually the person who locks up the maiden and throws away the key. He was the one who let me out. And I just love that so much. I love the personal growth that Feyre finally realising what trash that Tamlin is, and just like kind of rediscovering her self-worth, and just kind of getting over her, like, not necessarily getting over it, but coping with her traumas more, and finding a sense of family that she's never had before in Rhys and the inner circle, and a place where she feels valued and at home in Valaris. And I love that so much. Like, I just love it. I love those things. And then we also have when Feyre goes to the two halves of the book to try and nullify the cauldron, and everything just goes sideways. We have Nesta and Elaine who are turned into fae. As much as I love this part of the book, it's just too easy. Did he really need to do that? Like, no. Like, I get why he did to, you know, show the queens and all that, but I feel like it was just a way of Sarah J Maas making everything easier for Feyre, making her sisters immortal as well. Like, it just makes things easier for the future. It was all just too easy, like, that ending of this book. Like, the King of Heaven wouldn't realistically bother to do any of it. Like, why didn't he just kill them all there and then and use Feyre the way he wanted to? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just too easy, but I also get it because we need to be able to have that, to have them continue the characters, and obviously I didn't want that to happen. But every time I read that, it just feels too easy. Like, I don't know. But I still love it, obviously. So yeah, we have her sisters who are now fae, and Lucian's mating bond snaps into place with Elaine, and he realises Elaine is his mate. And we also have like Cassian and Nesta's are like weird, flirtatious, but also I hate you kind of thing going on, which I just love. And then obviously we also have like Tamlin being a little, basically betraying Feyre and setting up that thing with Herben to get her back, and I just hate him so much. Like, she told you she did not care for you anymore, like, let it go. Like, I hate Tamlin, and I hate Lucian for allowing it. I hate Tamlin so much. He is just awful, and oh, it just makes me so angry. Like, who does he think he is? But Feyre and Rhys will get the last laugh, and I love that. Also, another Cassian thing is Cassian's like on the floor, his wings are shredded, he's bleeding out, and Nesta's like screaming, about to go in the cauldron, and Cassian, it says Cassian against dead, slumping on the floor, but his hand twitched toward Nesta. I just love it, and I don't remember from A Court of Wings and Ruin because I haven't reread it in a long time. I'm curious if maybe Cassian and Nesta are each other's mates, because I don't know, like there seems to be, you know, that's something. And then another thing that I also noticed that I think is really important and is going to play a massive part in A Court of Silver Flames is when Nesta comes out of the cauldron and she's been transformed into a high fae, and it says, I knew that she was different. From however Elaine had been made, Nesta was different. Even before she took her first breath, I felt it, as if the cauldron in making her had been forced to give more than it wanted, as if Nesta had thought even after she went under and had decided that if she was to be dragged into hell, she was taking the cauldron with her. I love that because I feel like we're gonna see a lot more into Nesta, her abilities, exactly like what happened when she was like ducked under that cauldron, and like, yeah, this is just, I feel like this is going to be very, very important in A Court of Silver Flames. And then we have like, this is the bit that makes me cry the most every single time. So like Feyre realizes that there's no getting out of this, and she pretends to come out of this like trance of being Rhys's mate and everything, and she uses the light, I think from the Decor it is, to like blast out of her, and they all think like something like is going on, like she's breaking out of some kind of bond with Rhys. And but while she's like distracted and doing that, she breaks all the wards in Highbairn's castle, so obviously they can win her out and get to safety. And then she's like, Tamlin, oh my god, what happened, Tamlin, I love you, blah blah blah. And she's like pretending she's been in this, like, you know, she's been brainwashed and controlled by Rhys and all this. And then she says that they were already looking at me, faces bloody and cold and enraged, but beneath them I knew it was love beneath them. They understood the tears that rolled down my face as I silently said goodbye. And she's talking about Rhys and is in a circle, like, because she's saying all this is, and she's going to go with Tamlin because there's no other choice at this point, and she's given them a way to escape, to take her sisters. She's going to go with Tamlin. She's going to wreak havoc because she is pretending like that she's like broken the bond with Rhys and that she loves Tamlin, because obviously she says to the King of Highbairn, like, break the bond, and he does, but he doesn't break the mating bond, he just breaks the bargain. Yeah, so she is now obviously gone with Tamlin to the Spring Court, but little does he know that Rhys actually made her High Lady of the Night Court, which, as I said earlier in this vlog, there's no such thing as a High Lady, and Rhys took her to a priestess and got her sworn in as High Lady, and Tamlin has no idea, nobody does, and he's now got the High Lady of the Night Court in the Spring Court, pretending she loves him while she's going to be secretly spying on him, feeding info back to Rhys, getting more info on Highbairn, and also pretty much she's gonna ruin his life, and I'm here for it. I can't freaking wait. I love it so much. And I just love, like, the High Lady thing was just a cherry on top of Rhys and Feyre. Like, I love it so much. And I love how Rhys said, not consort, not wife, Feyre's High Lady of the Night Court, my equal in every way. She could wear my crown, sit on the throne beside mine, never sideline, and never designated to breeding and parties and child rearing. My queen. And there is this stark difference between him and Tamlin. And my favourite thing of all is the ending where she's saying to Tamlin, like, you know, no more gods, blah blah blah, and she's playing into it, and she's like, let me help, and secretly in her head she's thinking, help lead you in the wrong direction, help bring you and your court to your knees, and take down Dorian and those conniving traitorous queens, and then tear Ianthe into tiny pieces and bury them into the pit no one can find. And then she says, as if he knew that they had let a fox into a chicken coop and he could do nothing, and so Tamlin unwittingly led the High Lady of the Night Court into the heart of his territory. And then it ends, and I just love it. I love how Sarah J Maas always ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I love this book. There's so much more I could have spoken about, obviously, and so many things I've missed, but because I had to read this very fast over like 48 hours, it's almost been like too much to be able to update you guys. And yeah, I hope like I've still covered some cool stuff and like you guys have still enjoyed this vlog. Yeah, as you all know, 5 stars. I love this so much. This just covers so much stuff: adventure, fight scenes, romance, friendships, self-worth, self-discovery, getting over trauma, coping with trauma, just so much amazing stuff. World building as well, the history, the backstory, everything is just perfect about this book. And Sarah J Maas is just such an amazing writer. She's so clever, and I absolutely adore this. Like, I adore this, I adore these characters. I love this book like nothing else. Like, this is my favourite book ever. I hope that I've conveyed some of my thoughts well, because I do have a lot of thoughts, but they're kind of hard to get out, and I've read this quite quickly. But yeah, I hope that you guys did enjoy this vlog anyways. Like I said, I know it wasn't the best. I hope you still enjoy it. I'm so excited to read ACOTAR because I haven't read this for a while. So yes, I will have obviously a reading vlog up for this soon as well, so do keep an eye out for that. And of course for the A Court of Silver Flames vlog, I don't know if I'll be doing one for A Court of Frost and Starlight. I don't know if I'll be finishing ACOTAR in time, so you'll have to wait and see for that. But I hope that you guys did enjoy this vlog. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments about this book. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Is this your favourite in the series? What do you like most? Is there anything you noticed in here that you think will be important in A Court of Silver Flames? Like, let me know your thoughts and let's talk about this book in the comments, because you all know I love this book and I'm excited to talk to you guys about it and see what you guys think of this book. But yes, please do give me a big thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Subscribe if you'd like to. I make bookish videos twice a week. I host weekly reading sprints every Saturday, so I'm sure you do not want to miss any of those, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. I will have all of my social media, including my Bookstagram, my Twitter and my Goodreads linked down below, along with my Amazon wishlist and some really invaluable resources. So head to the description box if you would like to check out any of those. I hope you're all safe and well. I hope you're reading lots of good books. I hope you're as excited for A Court of Silver Flames as I am. And I will see you in the next vlog. Bye!